We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race. We hold it tight in every space, making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last. Making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last.
It's time for another conversation. Welcome to Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. And this time around, I have Peter Young. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you very much for having me.
Peter is an Amazon best-selling author. What's the name of your book?
The memoir is called Stop the Tall Man, Save the Tiger.
Okay. Okay. From the title, we would know what you talk about it. So tell us a little bit more about the book.
Sure. So it's a memoir and it details my journey in and out of a tiny but destructive religious cult. And just to give you like a brief, 2-minute overview, I unwittingly joined the cult when I married the love of my life 29 years ago. She brought to the marriage this Uncle Robert, who wasn't related to anybody. He was kind of the family guru.
Mm-hmm.
And I went along to get along because I loved my wife and she adored and revered the man.
Mm-hmm.
10, 15 years later, he brainwashed her, me, our kids, destroyed our marriage, broke up our family, taught my children I was the devil, said I was incapable of receiving salvation, and I hit rock bottom. But the Lord opened my eyes and ears to the truth, and I recovered. And so that's why I wrote the book. So my story could act as a cautionary tale for others, because the journey in and out of the cult is not fun.
Okay, which is a nice segue then into what we're going to be talking about, which is what are the signs of a small religious cult? What are those?
Sure. So I always say that cults all share two things, a cult leader and then undue manipulative mind control. It all begins and ends with the mind. From
Okay.
there, it can go in many different directions, big, small, abusive, physically, sexually, etc. But they all have the leader, and then they all have the undue mind control. And then the cult leader, there's a lot of signs that, if you peel back the onion enough, almost all
Mm-hmm.
of these cult leaders have the same characteristics. They're narcissistic. They
Mm-hmm.
make all the rules, but they don't apply to them. They blur the
Mm-hmm.
lines of the nuclear family, or they try and destroy the family so that everybody, grandparents, parents, and children, are all like obedient children of the cult leader. They try and act as a gatekeeper to God, whatever faith you're in. And they
Mm-hmm.
also have a grandiose sense of self or mission. And then lastly, one of the most important things really is they hate questions. They want blind obedience. And I always tell people
Mm-hmm.
the truth doesn't mind being questioned. As a Christian, ask me any question you want. It doesn't scare me or worry me. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know. But anybody that really hates questions, boy, that's a big red flag.
Okay. I noticed one of the very first things you said, the whole idea of mind control, but there are persons who will listen and will watch this, Peter, and they will say, but part of being part of something, quote unquote, bigger than yourself is
Mhm.
that there is somebody who bleeds or points you in a particular direction. So how then do you know that it's really over to an extreme? You understand what I'm asking?
I do. Yes, that's a good question because like when you talk about mind control, the first word is probably very important, undue, manipulative mind control. A
Okay.
coach could have positive mind control, right?
Okay.
Go get them, guys, play hard for me. A parent could have positive mind control. The undue manipulative mind control, you kind of get an idea that it's not healthy when they don't like to be questioned and they
Okay.
keep getting secretive. And that's how cult
Okay.
leaders control their members through isolation, paranoia, and secrecy.
You just kind of answered what I was about to ask next because from what I've watched over time, I recognize that what becomes attractive to those who get caught up into this, based on what I've noticed, is this sense of or this quote unquote sense of family, the sense of belonging. So you feel as if there is somebody who is taking care of you.
I'll take it even a step further. It almost gives you a belief of you're special, you're rare, you're unique.
Okay.
The cult leader will often tell you, don't share your pearls before the swine. That's a biblical term. In other words,
Mm-hmm.
I'm brilliant. What I've shared with you is brilliant, and no one else is going to understand it. So don't you dare share it. So now you are right in the presence of, you get to talk directly to this sublime, brilliant person. And it's intoxicating. So that makes you feel like, well, we know
Mm.
the answers, and everyone else in society is walking around blind.
What then? Because there are persons who are naturally introverted, shy,
Mhm.
and can be easily led. What then would you say to persons like that who will say, but that's just how I am, and if there's somebody with a stronger personality and I feel that what they're doing and what they're saying makes sense, I might then be tempted to. What then?
Sure. The analogy I always give, or the way I like to describe it is, in Christian faith, there's the body of Christ. We're the body of believers. Okay, if I cut off my thumb, I'm not going to die. My thumb will die. Just like with
Mm,
the body of believers, if you get cut off from your traditional communication, fellowship, relationships, then you become isolated and vulnerable. So it has really nothing to do with how introverted or extroverted you are. You can be incredibly introverted and have a lot of friends. They can
mm,
be family, your mom, your dad, your children. As long as you have a loving group of friends and family around you, and you have good communication, open communication, so that you could ask questions and they can ask
mm,
questions of you. They say, hey, Noreen, you have this new person in your life, and all I do is hear you praise him or her, and you
mm,
never let anyone question him. What's going on? Right? That's a healthy dialogue.
mm, mm, mm.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race.
I'm Peter Young, Amazon bestselling author of Stop the Tollman, Save the Tiger. We're going to take a break right now and hear from our partners.
In a world full of noise, N-Sound Media delivers voices that matter. From podcasts that challenge and inspire, to streaming TV that uplifts and informs, to music and stories you won't hear anywhere else. This is media built for community, culture, and truth. Independent, bold, unfiltered. Streaming worldwide and growing every day. Download, listen, watch. Join the movement that puts real voices front and center. N-Sound Media. Streaming innovation amplified.
I recently have been coached by the great Miss Noreen Daly.
This woman has been full of moments of, I see your potential and I see your dreams that you're afraid to dream. So let's get there and let's do it.
Noreen was the one who recognized my flaw, but she didn't leave it there. She led me along the journey of developing my communication skills.
She was able to point out some of my weaknesses that I didn't yet notice.
She exposed me to so many fundamental pillars of communication.
I pray that you have people in your life who are as supportive as she is, who are as much of a gift as she is.
And I 100% recommend Miss Noreen Daly as your coach.
The truth is, I am who I am today because of Noreen's coaching.
Find her. Seriously, find her.
Services include communications consultancy, one-on-one coaching, public speaking and debate training, leadership and team building sessions, plus much more. Visit NoreenDaly.com for more info. Noreen Daly, redefining the way you communicate.
Langdo Language Institute was created to meet your language and communication needs. All of our packages were created just for you. We are passionate about language and dedicated to your success. We offer the CSEC English program, the Study Buddy program, the Get Ahead with English program, and the Business Communication program. Contact us at 767-285-0938 or email us at langdolanguage@gmail.com, because the real question is, how can we help you?
Welcome back. Time now to continue our conversation.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Face to face, we set the pace. Love so strong, no need to race.
What was the breaking point for you or made you realize that this is, a cult and I need to get out?
I always tell people you never know you are in a cult, you only know you were in one. Because if the mind control is truly there, you won't know it. Those on the outside will know it. They'll see it, but you won't. So what happened for me, I was effectively kicked out of the cult. My wife left me after nearly 20 years of marriage. We had 5 kids. And she left me to draw closer to Uncle Robert and, really have him be not so much her husband. And I don't think there's anything sexual going on, but just to be more in his orbit, to be done with me. So then she started poisoning the children. She and Uncle Robert started to teach our children that I was the devil, Satan, and a sorcerer. So I lost my marriage. My kids hate me. Uncle Robert's trying to tell me that I am incapable of receiving salvation. I've got a legion of demons in me. And I hit rock bottom. And I really suffered. Did not want my marriage to end. I was miserable. And then I finally reached out to my friends and family who were not in the cult. And they had no idea what was going on. My brothers, sister-in-laws, my parents, who didn't live with me in Idaho and Montana. They had no idea. When I told them what was going on, they immediately rallied around me and loved me and supported me. And so really, Noreen, there was no one moment. There were several moments in about a year-long journey where I had other sane voices, other loving, sane Christian voices in my head that I was listening to rather than just that one guy. And then I realized it took about a year. I was only brainwashed for about 2 years. And it took a full year to finally say, well, that was wrong. I was in a cult.
What would you say to somebody who is probably not sure if they are, and yeah, let me ask that part first. If they probably having questions, they see themselves being pulled into something, and they recognize that based on some of what you described earlier, it could be that they're part of a cult. What would you say to them?
Well, I would say they still have a lot of hope, and they need to take advantage of this moment because it's critical. Because again, once you get in a cult, you won't know it. No one ever knowingly joins a cult. No one's ever in a cult. They're always in something better. So the most important thing to do would be ask questions. And ask questions of those inside the group that you suspect is unhealthy and is a cult, and ask questions of those outside the group. Again, your traditional historical relationships, whether it's your coworkers or your relatives or your next door neighbor, whoever it is, ask questions. Because what I think is a big red flag is the people outside the cult will give you honest answers, and they might be critical. And the people that are in the cult, or if it is an unhealthy group, they'll deny it all. They'll deny everything. And they will also attack the person who's asking the questions. And if the person is healthy enough to observe, turn around and run, get out.
Okay. Are there any positives to actually being part of a cult, or is it all negative?
I do not think there's any positives, no. And when I say that, let me add this caveat. There is a difference between a true cult, which again I believe is undue, manipulative mind control with a leader who would never and does not want anybody, is not looking out for anybody's best interest.
Okay.
There's a difference between that and, let's say, dysfunctional culture. It could be a church, it could be a family, it could be the army, business.
Okay.
There's some good in those groups, right? And there's a difference between the two.
Okay. What would be the major difference between the two? And how then, what would be the difference?
Sure. In a true cult, I believe, because this is the Peter Young theory, I believe that there is one leader. So that's why if there's a religion out there that I believe is a false religion, I don't think it's a cult. I would call it a false religion because there might be a
Okay.
hierarchy of pastors and bishops or whatever. Cult leaders
Okay.
never share power. They never share.
Ah.
They're never after your best interest. That's the biggest difference, I would say.
Hmm. 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 What do you think can be done to minimize that being so attractive to people then?
Yeah, wow, great question. We all have the innate desire to belong, to be part of a
Mm-hmm.
group, have deep
Mm-hmm.
relationships, family club, whatever it is, right? We all have that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the phrases they use is called love bombing, that when you join a cult, they love bomb you, all kinds of
Mm.
praise and love, and they smother you so that you feel great when you join this group. Only after that do they start making the demands on you. And I don't think it's so much the allure needs to be taken away because we all have that desire to
Yeah,
belong, to be part of a
yeah,
group.
we were built that way.
Exactly. To
Mm-hmm.
me, I would answer it differently, and I would say it's more important that we, especially in a digital electronic age, don't allow us, ourselves, or our friends and loved ones to become isolated.
Ah,
Because
okay.
I kind of feel like cults will always be around, but I feel like they will lose
Mm.
their potency when there are less lonely, vulnerable people out there
Yeah,
because the cult leaders prey on those people.
yeah, yeah. Human connection, and in this digital society, we are more than often losing it. It's kind of ironic that, especially like phones are supposed to keep us connected, and sometimes it's one of the biggest ways we
Right.
disconnect.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not, and I've got a teenage son that's on his phone a lot, and those connections to me are just a kind of a cheap imitation of the
Yeah,
real thing, which is, in person, sitting down over a cup of coffee or whatever it is, even if you're going out for beers, I don't care what it is, bowling, Bible study,
yeah,
getting
something.
together with people in person.
Yeah, yeah. What is the one main thing with all of what you said you'd want my listeners and my viewers to get from this conversation? What's the one main idea? You say, if you get nothing else, this is the main idea I want to share. What's that
Sure.
idea?
And that would be that if you see a friend or loved one who has broken off historic traditional communication, they don't call, they
Mm,
don't email, they don't go to church, they don't come to work anymore, and they have become isolated and vulnerable, and now they've joined some new group, club, church, whatever it is, and they have all or nothing praise, right? All praise, no questions asked. If you see that person or know that person, reach out and maintain fellowship and communication and ask the difficult questions. Because remember, that person, if they're in a cult or going down that road, they don't know it.
yeah,
You do. Have those conversations.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Peter.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
This was Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Noreen Daly. Until next time.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race. We hold it tight in every space, making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last. Making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last.